Hey everyone, I finally see me. Let's see if you can see me, if you can hear me, if you can hear me over the music, because there's a lot that I don't know that I'm doing, because this is the first stream, and there is going to be, I think, a lot of lessons learned along the way. So awesome. I guess if anyone is still hanging out in the chat, thank you so much for sticking around for my first stream ever. I hope you enjoyed the Valkyries. I hope you will enjoy this. It is definitely a bit of an experiment for me. But if you are there in the chat, I guess just to quickly check, do I sound okay? Do you hear me okay? Is the music any better? I did try to lower it already, but I know there's a delay sometimes between me seeing the chat and you telling me something. I also tried to have the chat ready here on the side, and of course, I think I lost the connection as soon as it started. Whatever, keeps it interesting. So thank you again, and welcome to the second ever episode of The Builder's Block. So I'm trying to follow along with the excellent work that Emily did last time in our very first episode. Hopefully I can live up to that standard, and we can do something cool and fun. Awesome, thank you. Sorry, I'm seeing the chat now. Thank you, glad you can hear me. Right, so how's this going? Ashley, hey, sorry. And I know you're up here, you're not down there, but my screen's down there, so I'll remember to look up here. So tonight, I didn't really know what to build, so I build lots of different things in Lego. It's all custom stuff. There's nothing wrong with building a set. I love sets, but over the last few years, I kind of stopped building sets and started to build my own custom stuff, my own designs, my own things I would make up on the fly, and it's been great. Now a lot of those things are a lot bigger, they're a lot more complex. I don't know, quite frankly, how well it will work to stream building those things, though I think we'll work up to it. But I figured to start off, I could go a little bit simpler. I could go a little bit more straightforward, and I could build something small, a little bit more doable during a stream, and hopefully hopefully I won't run out of material, and we'll see how well it goes. Oh, thank you. I saw someone saw the necklace. Thank you. So let's take a little look at what I'm going to build, and that is a custom truck, a custom SUV that I designed. So this is it. Hopefully you're seeing it now. This is, I don't quite know what kind of truck it is. It's not specifically any kind of brand of car. It's me. I thought there's kind of like a little Jeep vibe to it, kind of a Land Rover vibe to it. Mostly I just thought it kind of looked cool. And so I built this truck. I made up this design for it. And you'll see again in a second here, but it also does have, I'm going to be building in a couple other colors. So it's not, you're not going to see me redo this exact same one. I'm going to be building some new versions of it. I did though want to give you kind of a sneak peek at some of the other things I build. In particular, there's a building I made actually a couple years ago that no one has seen. I took some very crummy quick pictures of it, and then I never properly took good pictures of it, so I only have a few very messy pictures, but you can see it now. Some of the first people to see it, and that was a train station I made, which I was very proud of, partly because it's tons of little teeny tiny pieces to make that little brick effect, which took forever to make, but I thought looked kind of cool. I thought it looked, like a real, I almost picture like a Connecticut or upstate New York train station, commuter rail station. I'm sorry for all the mess on the table here when I rapidly took a picture. This is like the best that I really have of it. I did kind of get a shot over the top. You can see there's some skylights that look down in it. There's 2 train tracks on the back. And there's also that little empty space at the top there. That's actually an open space where I ran a monorail track. If you remember the really old Lego monorail system that existed, that's what docks there. So you can go upstairs to the monorail, or you can go down and out the back to the 2 rail tracks for the various rail services. And of course, with all my buildings, they have fully done interiors. So this is a picture just of the waiting room off of the main ticket hall. I have a little Brick and Donuts off the side of that, a little franchise operation, so you can get your coffee on your way. Yeah, and that's the train station that eventually I want to take more pictures and proper pictures of. But if nothing else, you can see the things I did take pictures of on my website. I just made it live last week. It's not nearly done. I have a lot more I need to write specifically on the trans talk section with finishing my story and doing some different Q's and A's. But the Lego section is there, and the Lego section is done. And so you can see a whole bunch of different things, like a building that is currently in process. It's actually off to my side here. Some of the buildings and shows I was really proud of, and then all of the pictures. And you can, of course, always at the top of every page go directly to Flickr and see all of this there as well. So that's just a little side, but for tonight, we are again just doing this one. So this is what you're going to see get recreated right about now. So hi again. Hopefully that all went smoothly enough. So now we do the next little pivot, and hopefully this also worked. And again, this is where all of you are so important, especially on this first stream, to make sure that this is working correctly. I'm going to try to do combinations of cameras and combinations of slides I've never done before. So please let me know if something's going wrong. And I'm going to try to remember to look at the stream, the chat below. But flag, keep saying it, I'll notice eventually if something is awry. I also want to briefly pause and just give credit to Emily, who did such an amazing job on these overlays that you can see around here. I played around with an idea for, on the side, the logo, the builder's block symbol, but she punched it up so much, made it so amazing, did this awesome, cool, striated effect on top of it, and then made all these other things to go around it, and made it so easy for me to just pop it right in to OBS and get to using it. So she did an amazing job. I just want to credit her for that. And you will see it in hers, you will see it in Rose's, the next person who's going to be building, and whenever we find that final fourth person to also build with us. Cool, so let's get to it, huh? The build surface. Another thing to see how well this works. I originally tried to do this on my wooden desk. That was way too loud. So we're going to try it with this mat, and hopefully it will be okay, and you will be able to see me build it without being disturbingly loud. Again, let me know. Yeah, but let's, I guess, like a brief, almost slightly closer zoom. So these are all the pieces we need to rebuild this. Ooh, remember where the camera is. This. So this is the truck I'm gonna be recreating in blue and red tonight. And it's cool. There's a couple things that are a little bit different about what I did versus what you'll see with a lot of the official Lego sets. Not like there's anything wrong with any of them. It was just my own personal preference that I really wanted to be able to have two people side by side in the front and back, which is often very difficult to pull off. So I made that happen with this truck. And I'll show you how as we go through building it. But that was just a real big goal of mine. One thing you'll also definitely see as we go through this is that I don't always have all the parts I want. Or more accurately, I almost certainly have the parts and I can't find them. I have a whole closet just of raw unsorted brick. Off to my side here, we'll briefly come back here. I don't know if you can, nope, you can't see. Let's do this one. Nope, you really can't see, even closer to me. All right, trust me that off to my side, there are whole racks of all these different trays with all these different little pieces that are sorted. I hold whole buckets of things sorted even further in the closet, but pales in comparison to the unsorted Lego. I have so much work to do to actually make it findable and usable. So in the meantime, I sometimes struggle a little bit, and that was definitely true with this, that you can even see it here. Like I have a 1x1 green brick, and then I have 3 1x1 green plates stacked up to simulate a brick because I could not find any more of the green 1x1 bricks. And so I'll talk about that as I build this, that there's a number of places where I compromised just based on what I had for any particular color. So if you try to recreate this, if you want to, go for it, please. If you want to, please know this is nothing, this is not proprietary. You can do whatever you want with this. You can improve upon it if you want. But I'll make a note of where I made a little deviation just to make it work for me. So you might be able to do it better. You might be able to do it simpler with the one piece, or you might want to go even farther and crazier and break it up more. And that is totally okay. All right, so building. It's fascinating too. I had this like other little computer set up so I could like look at the chat and I could do all this stuff. And I don't know if it's too much with the streaming, but the second I started streaming, all of that shut off. So sadly, I cannot see the chat nearly as quickly as I hoped to. But I hope you are you're still following along well enough. All right, so just briefly checking. Oh, here's my giant hand. Here's me briefly checking the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anything that's super obvious. Doesn't look like it. Good. We can power through. And someone did comment on the ring, and thank you. I do love this ring. I got it. You can, if it will focus on the ring. This is a pronoun ring I got at FlameCon, which is a really cool event. It's basically Queer Comic Con. It happens every year, except unfortunately, of course, last year, rightly so, it was canceled. But that was one of the most fun events I've done in a while. With my good friends, Ashley, who I saw in the chat, and Jessica, who I see in the chat right now, and bought it while we were there together. We had such a great time. So yes, I love this ring. I would tell you where you could get it, but I don't remember where I got it because it was at some booth at FlameCon. Okay, building. So we have this truck, and I'm going to zoom out, back out slightly less fuzzy with this camera. We are going to build this. So how do we get started? And honestly, I'm probably going to be having like a little constant reference check to remind myself how the heck I built this. But with most vehicles, you start with the base, the bottom. And this particular base is, I believe, 2 by 14, 8, 12, yes, 14. So this is a plate 2 by 14. Can honestly be almost any color because this is on the bottom of the truck. People won't really see it. I like, oh, and here you can even see I compromised with this truck, and there's a 12 and then a 2 by 2. I like to try to make them at least be somewhat rational colors. So I did do that in this case. Geez, I'm like looking through this trying to remember what the heck I did with this. You know what? We're gonna kind of tear apart the old truck a little bit so we can remember. Because I'm pretty sure I got all the pieces for this, but I was very anxious about what I would do for my first stream. And so I assembled all these pieces 2 weeks ago. So we don't really get, oh geez, I'm destroying this. Look. Well, this will really help for a very, very explicit. Oh, Danny, hey, thank you for following. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming by tonight. And you will not regret following because you will get so much more amazing content. Not just me, but all of the amazing things that people do on the Transverse Network. So you have made a good decision by following just now. All right, so me building this truck. I can already see some of the things I did. Unfortunately, the bottom of this truck was far harder to remove than I expected. So I don't want to like completely destroy it because I want to be able to follow at least a little bit what I did before. And maybe that won't happen, and that's okay, because that's what makes it fun, right? It all shatters wildly in the process. There we go. Okay, back on track. So, in the middle here, we have a one tire base right off the front there, nice and easy. One equidistant right off the back, ta-da! And in between, I did this nice little 2 by 8 plate as well. Very sturdy. Now I normally wouldn't do this. I'd probably do something a little bit wider right at the start, but there's a reason why I did that, and you'll see it in a bit when I put these little side rails on to make the rest of the base. So above this, I think this is the next step. Yes, I have this big old plate. And you'll see when I get to the red one that I did not have as long of a plate, so I already had to compromise with that one. This one, though, I think I'm a little bit more set up, that I am going to put this across the top. This is great how I'm like trying to remember how the heck I built this. Here we go. I have 2 little bracket points here. I'm gonna stick on the front. That's going to be for the front bumper, and I can show you kind of a comparison. There's the front. There's me adding on some little bumper pieces for the front. Then this overlaid on top. You can see how it kind of comes kind of similar back there, but these little angle bits let me put the bumper on the front. Then I think I can safely now lay this down. Yes, I can. Nice and sturdy, and then off the back. It's sad how little of this I remember. You would think I would remember this and retain all of it. Just take a couple weeks off, and poof, it all disappears from my brain. Okay. So, in addition to this, I need another plate to make it a little bit longer. So ideally, this would be this long. It would also be 14 studs long. I did not have a 14 by 4 plate, at least in blue. So I kind of made up the difference a little bit there. I also have this little additional back end I'm going to put on there. That will go there. And here is a lot of the base of the truck. These little pieces, which are a very cool, very different piece. They're a plate on top, but the front is 2 plates high because it has room for studs on the front. So I'm using 3 of these in this particular base. These 2 are being used for the sides of the truck. So we can add a little. And I would say all the names of what these things are on the truck, but it's been 12 years since I've driven a car and I don't remember all the names of the parts of the car. That's my excuse. Okay. So let's reassemble the old truck so I haven't completely destroyed it. I can kind of remember what's going on. Okay. And sorry, it's just off screen. You can't really see it. I'm going to put it over here so you can see what I'm looking at off to the side here. I took off the little bumper. Okay, I'm going to start from back. I'm going to put the bumper on. So bumper. And this is a little bit different, but you'll see why I did it later on. I have a 1x6 smooth surface plate, a tile. And then I have 2 1x1 dark gray or dark bluish gray studs that I've attached to the bottom. And then I just pop that right over the bottom and boom, bumper. And the back end of the truck has a smooth bottom because it's made sort of at a 90-degree angle attached to it. So this has to be smooth for that to touch it. So that's why this bumper is a little different than you might normally see. Okie dokie. Now I will, I think, trying to see how tall this is. Okay. Take the wheels off the old one too. So again, I can better see what I'm doing between these. It'll be interesting how much faster I am with the second one, given how little I can remember the first one. Okay. This is definitely interesting. I can already see where I probably forgot a piece that I should have set aside for this. So I might do a little bit of diving along the way. So you'll get to hear an enormous racket of noise as I rebuild the bottom of it. But let's get back to the front of the truck. Put that plate on there. Just want the wheel well to be 1 plate higher. With clearance for the wheels. Again, pull off the bottom so I can try to get in there and see what I did. Jeez. This is sad how little I remember. Being a week ago. That's about normal though, that I destroyed the thing trying to recreate the thing. So I really will get to build 3 of these. I already lost the guy. Ran overboard. Okay. This is familiar. Right. So I'm going to take 2 more 1x1 gray plates. I'm going to stick these on there. Oh, sorry. And I am doing terrible. I completely forgot about the chat. I think I thought chat would be up here, but this I think doesn't pull from the stream since I don't have that full access. So looking down at the iPad I put in here, Danny's talking about the unicorn I made for girls, or for kids. That was so fun. I was the first time I ever built an animal. I built a unicorn. We will have to find a picture of that. I don't have that handy. I have to find a picture of that, the unicorn I made for them. But that was a blast, and that was very different for me. Outside my normal comfort zone. Hadn't built that before. Alright, cool. To add on the first wheel wells to the truck. And then, what's above that? Oh. So to fill in the space, there's sort of like a gap in this wheel well here, given that the front of the truck is shorter. And so on the green truck, I actually put these little side bricks on, where they are sort of the headlight piece, where again, there's the opportunity to have a stud pointing forward at the side of the brick. So I put this and then attach what's called a cheese wedge, this little angle piece. Put that on there, boom, then boom, make 2 of these, and it helps kind of hides the gap there, so it's almost like a continuation of the wheel well. Not quite, I couldn't make it stick all the way out because it touches the wheel and then the wheel doesn't turn, but I got kind of close to it. So that was the immediate next step. I want to double check. Yes, I do. So, okay. Left that open. Okay. I then think I took a 2x1 little brick just to fill out the top of this. So again, this is another little forward-facing brick above the forward-facing tiles. They're not quite lined up with each other, but that's okay. It leaves a little bit extra room for the bumper and then for the grille above it. So sort of staggered just a little bit from each other there. I'm gonna finish more of the front in a second. I'm gonna go back here. So these, the sides of the panels of the truck. I do have little teeny tiny 1x1 round studs that I'm going to fill in some of the gaps on here, so that you can see there's this little stepped down portion. I'm going to build that up with 4 little studs, and I just picked round black ones just because they were very abundant. I got hundreds of them at one point. I don't remember why, but I have a giant drawer of them, so they are an easy filler piece to pop in there. So now this is a nice smooth surface for building upon. Yeah, all right. I think I got a large part of the way there. Let's see what is remains of the truck I like semi half destroyed over here to compare. Okay. I think I know where to go. Goodness, I really did tear this thing apart. I'm not even entirely sure if this came with the old set or the new one. Alright. We'll find out later on in the build if that is something I'm supposed to be using or not. I'm going to do a little bit more of the front of the truck. Let's finish this one off. So, we have a couple things to do. We have our bumper and the little grill that comes up from the bumper, and then the actual grill and lights that go on the front of the truck. So for the bumper, it is a relatively simple set of pieces. Oh good, and I do need this piece because that is what this 1x4 plate is for. This is the base of the bumper. I'm then going to take 2 of these little clips and put them on there. Boom, boom. And I'm going to take these 2 smooth curved pieces. I'm going to put them on either side. So, nice rounded bumper there. And then I'm going to take this grill piece, clip it into the base, boom, and then boom, pop down the front. Success. So, bumper done. Nice, easy, simple. Man, I think I realized there's a couple gray plates I left out of the set. So we're going to steal them from the red one and then get some more later. Now we have this dark gray 2x4 plate that will be the front of the truck. Let's see, where is... I have these 2 little grill pieces, which I did vertically. Boom, boom. We get the headlights. We got the blinkers. Anyone who's really eagle-eyed will notice that I already broke a nail. Yeah. This is several millimeters shorter than it was a moment ago. That's okay. That's how this goes. This is the hard truth. I was gonna paint my nails, and I'm like, why bother? That will just make even more of a mess in the process of this. Okay, front of the truck on. Key first step. Now, you can see behind, oh, do we have another? Omega is following. Thank you, Omega. Awesome to have you. It makes sense that you are here. Danny is here. And I see Ava in the chat. Hey, Ava. Awesome to see you. And I apologize for anyone else. I see Midvani too. I saw you just as I was about to switch over. But apologies if anyone else has joined and I haven't said anything. It is because I have not figured out very well how to do this and also see the camera and see the chat. I will get better next time, I promise. But super awesome to see you all. Okay, so yes, I am suffering from my art, but I'm very used to it. I'm very used to it. And eventually, like, I don't know, do acrylics or something? Maybe then they'll be unbreakable. And probably help with, like, taking pieces apart. Think about that. Okay, so I want a brick here. I don't see a brick. How ill prepared was I with picking out these pieces? I don't believe it. I don't think I have one. All right, I'm going to briefly pause. I'm going to go right over there and grab some bricks and be right back here. So stay. Let's find this piece. All right. Yes, good job, Emily. Good job. Good reference catching. All right. I can already see some of the things I need. And this will be interesting how ludicrously loud this is. But hopefully this won't be too bad. This is one of my smaller bags because I have less of the royal blue color. I can see a few things that might be handy, especially I want to get the pieces that I was starting to steal from the red one, so I don't have to do that. And I can keep this going with the second model. See how well I can do that. Holy cow. This might just work. Close enough. Okay. Found the pieces I want, I think. So what I did was I found a most basic of all Lego bricks, the one that everyone recognizes, the 2x4 standard brick. And this little guy I'm going to pop right here back behind the wheel well. Then, yes, is that all that it is? Yes, that's all that it is. I'm going to go back a little bit. I'm going to take off this gray plate. Because you remember I was running out of these. I apparently forgot to set them aside for this particular, copy of the truck. So I'm going to try to pull that back off and give it back to the old truck and replace it with some blue ones. Since I just got some extra blue ones. The problem is this thing is really on there hard. Because I was a little bit too thorough in attaching it. That is what the brick separator is for. And I have a literal basket of these with hundreds of them. Oh, makes it so much easier. So much easier. It really is a miracle tool. Okay, these go back to the red truck. And instead, I'm going to replace it with blue. So we will do blue up front. And back, I couldn't find, at least quickly enough, a 2x4 blue one, but I found a 3x2. And then I think in the drawer beside me, I should have more 1x2s. And I can fake it, which is a key component of any building. And of course I can't find any. That would be too easy. That's okay. We'll do this. We will do 2 1x4 plates instead. Boom, boom. Because they will go in the exact same place and look exactly the same as that 2x4 piece. And there you go. Science. Because that's what science is. Step together. Okay. Hope you're staying with me. I hope this is still going okay. Or not too horrific. Now, where I took apart all the wheel. Oh, these are these wheel wells. That's that brick. Boom. That's the green truck. Boom. I want to, what do I want to do? I want to, yes, build out. So I'll come back to me now. I'm gonna build out the rest of the front of this truck. Now this part got a little bit more complicated because this was a place where I had to compromise a lot. The ideal brick for the top front of this truck is this plate. This angled plate has a curve, or not curve, an angled inside, wedged kind of side there, and then straight along the back. And it's 4x6 total, but narrows to 4 at the front, 6 at the back. Perfect place. Only had a bajillion of these in grays and blacks. I had one in green, I had none in blue and red. So I'm having to recreate it with some other pieces. And Mish is following. Hey Mish, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm excited for what you will be excited about with all the other Transverse stuff that you get to see. But I hope it's going okay. And thank you so much for coming. And Billy's here. Hi. And you made a Quarantine Kitchen account. That's so clever. You're there too. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So this is what I'm going to try to recreate with other smaller pieces. And part of how I did that, I have these little blue wedges. They're a little bit longer than I want. Hopefully it will still look okay, but it's still roughly the same. So I'm gonna start with those. I'm gonna pop those on here. Boom, 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 boom. Trying to remember which part I did. I think, yes, I did that. Since I have this little gap in here, I'm gonna take one of those pieces that I luckily just pulled out of this bag and flop it right down in there. Plop this 2x3 plate on top. Another 1x6 plate. Yeah, there we go. Behind it. And boom, it's basically almost entirely nearly the same as that plate that I'm substituting. So that should hopefully do the trick and fill out the rest of the surface of this truck. So now we want the smooth bits. Another place where again I had to compromise a ton because apparently I used up whatever blue plates I had a long time ago. I could only find these little 1x2 ones. So I'm just gonna add 98 gajillion of them to make the smooth front surface of the truck. Boom, boom. I have two little 1x1 tile pieces that go on the side there and there. And now it's almost ready for the windshield, which I will come back and do a little bit later. So turning around a little bit, on the side of this truck, you can see I have this plate here and then this stud here where there's a gap in between, and we would like not to be gaps there. And that's where one of these inverse angled bricks come in. So I'm actually going to lightly lift up that thing I just put on. I'm going to put two of these angled bricks right in there on either side of the wheel well. So now, boom, it's like a solid angle. It fills in that gap that would otherwise appear there. And then we can put the plate back on the front. And it's a little bit tough to do because it kind of pushes the inverse slope down a little bit. So there's no support underneath of it. So kind of have to hold it in place while we attach it. But now, solid front of the truck. See, it's like I almost know what I'm doing, kinda, at least if I eventually remember it. Okay. I'm gonna also put in some of the driver's stuff, like a steering wheel and stuff now, because it's a little bit easier to get to right now than it is later on in the build. So we'll have a steering wheel, we'll have a little gear shift, which I thought about putting on the floor, but I think I just got a little bit lazy. And so I put it up on here on the sort of on the dash, a little sloped, another cheese wedge, a black one, to kind of feel like it's a part of a dash. Because, you know, cars have interiors are exactly the same color as the exterior, so I feel like I'm dead on with this. Great. All right. So that's good, solid front of the truck experience recreation. I can even put the green one back together a little bit now that we have gotten to see literally inside the works about how it was going. And I've only broken it 3 times, which is a relatively minor amount. I think will hold together for me now. Okay, so we have good old doors. And now the doors are an interesting component because actually it is one of the things that was a little bit tougher and part of why I was doing my own custom vehicles versus purely adopting the normal Lego standard. So, because a lot of Lego cars have gotten wider over the years. They went from 4 studs wide, they went to 6. Most are still 6. Some of the really advanced, are really particularly cool looking cars, the W6 or Speed Racer series, some of those are 8 bricks wide, or they expand out to 8 bricks, which is cool, but I still like the notion that there was sort of this 6 brick wide standard. That always sort of felt right to me. It also goes well with their road base plates. That this fits more easily on them when it's 6 studs wide, maybe 7 max. Oh, cool, Billy's lurking. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you chose to expand your Twitch experience by coming in and seeing me here. So thank you very much, Billy, for coming along. And for those of you who followed, who weren't following before, you will get to see Billy in the amazing show Queer and Teen Kitchen, which is both here on Twitch on the Transverse Network and on Instagram, where you should also follow her there. But it's a great show, a great series where she cooks and interviews, and they cook, and it's awesome stuff. Check it out, Monday nights, really good stuff. Okay, so part of where I was talking about, or battling about, because everyone else is so interested by this, with the doors. I guess if you are, you're here, or you're at least, a friend who I guilted into coming. But part of what's going on here with the doors is I wanted to make this car feel like it was proportional to this size. And again, having 2 people in it side by side in each row. And that's not as easy with some of the pieces as they exist. So this door, being only 1 brick high, was actually a little bit shorter than I wanted. I wanted it to kind of span this whole height. And there's some that do, they're harder to find, especially in different colors. So I instead compromised, and I did, and if you put a brick down here, I could put a brick here instead of this little angled tile kind of thing, and that would be fine, but you would not be able to push a person in there. So the people sit on these little jumpers, these little offset pieces, and basically this person's right leg goes down onto those jumpers and on top of the smooth surface of that tile to get closer to that door. So it's like the people are 5 studs across, even though the whole thing is 6 studs across. That's tough to do that. So that's part of why I spent, and that's frankly the thing that probably took me the longest to figure out, is how to do that, how to get people to do this and to make it wide enough for them without looking weird, without being too weak of a build. And then later on, how to make it tall enough, which is also sometimes a challenge, because a lot of, I think Lego's windows are either too tall or too short for the look I want. So that's what we're gonna do again with the blue one. Here's the blue one. The middle here, the thing that makes most of those people be able to sit apart from each other, are these little pieces I had all clipped together, these jumper plates. So it's like a tile. It's technically a plate because there's a stud on top, but that stud's in the middle where the bottom is 2 wide, the top is in the middle and 1. So tons of jumper pieces that are always super handy, and I'm going to put 6 of these in. The reason I'm doing 6 is for something I did in the back for greater stability on some of these trucks, but I could in theory do it. But you only need 1 to stick a person's leg on, so the front's just a little bit more secure than the back. I do these here, 2 and 1, and then I have some other tile pieces to kind of fill in the gaps after that. So there's a 1x4 tile, it's a nice smooth interior, and then I have 2 more 2x4s. I could do, I'm sorry, these are 2x2s. I could do a 2x4, but those are harder to come by, and I saved 1 for the roof instead of down here, so I cheaped out and did the interior there. On the back here, I put another plate. I put this particular plate, no real reason, but that can go there. And now we're ready to add the rear wheel wells. So boom, pop those on, and cool. We have Tara. Oh, it's so awesome. Thank you for coming by, Tara. I'm so glad you're here. I know that normally this would have been competing with your time, but obviously I knew you were off. I would never compete with you directly. You're too awesome, and I just too much enjoyed seeing your show. But at least you get to see me for a little bit here, and I'm so glad you were able to stop by and see. So thank you for coming in, and thank you for following the Transverse Network and all of the cool stuff you will see. Thank you, Tara. Sweet. All right, so most of the base of the truck kind of here now, kind of exists. I'm going to add in these plates. These are the angled tiles I was mentioning earlier that make me kind of able to extend the doors a little bit higher. They look a little bit higher than they are, and they can fit people actually into the base. So we'll pop those in there. Boom, boom, boom. I will add in the first of the 1x1 bricks. And I put another set in the back here because that is what the rear doors will sit on top of. So they have to attach to something. So they're going to attach to. And then 2 more angled for the rest to sit underneath the door. Originally, I didn't have these back here. I had more angled pieces up the back, but I decided to compromise a little bit so I could fit 2 people in the back seat instead of just 1. So there you go. Base of the truck. Boom, boom. So for the back of the truck, which I ripped off of the green one, what's going on back here? There's a few interesting, cool little parts going on, and so we will build up. I think we'll start with the extreme back of the truck. We will start with the tail, and so for the tail, I went 1 plate higher on the back. There, you can see that there, 2 plates high, and then I have another one of these side-facing bricks where there's studs on top and on the side. And I'm going to attach another one of these pieces to that. Now, unfortunately, I would like this to be blue. I think the truck would look better if this was blue. I could not, for the life of me, find a royal blue one. I have to think I own them. I think I own several of them. I could not find it. So I gave up. I used black. Hopefully it won't look terrible. We'll about to find out. Yes. So for this, I think I used this, a 1x4 to make that smooth on top there. We're gonna put some lights on the back. We will put more blinky lights because it's important to have turn signals, and it's a pet peeve, at least back 12 years ago when I was driving, to have it. I have to admit, I do not recognize that username, but I'm so glad you followed. I would love to know, if you want in the chat, how to pronounce that. But it's so awesome to see you. So thank you for following this show and the Transverse as a whole. So awesome to have you. So you are joining just in time, or at least following just in time, to watch me attach the turn signals and then the brake lights. And Russ is following. Russ, you rock. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for following. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you're able to hear me. I think things have been okay, but again, let me know if my voice is off or the music's off. Hopefully this is good. Okay, so I put on the start of the back here with the little blinky lights and the brake lights. I will now add in some more smooth tiles for the trunk. This is the kind of thing you might want to like put in a license plate or something. That would be cool. I have tons of stickers where I can do that. I save stickers from other sets, so I can recreate those. I did not think ahead to get any stickers for this set, so there will be no license plate. This will be an illegal truck. Okay, so we had this angled plate before. We have this new angled plate, which again has its own set of studs on top. So I can kind of, instead of putting it face up and down like I did for the side panels, I'm doing it on its side, and I can kind of make use of these now. It's as though that was a brick. Another little clever little twist there. You might not have seen coming on the back of the truck. Right, so now that I have that, what was right? The wheel wells. So we talked about the front where I did this smooth inverse brick to kind of fill in the wheel well. In the front, I did these little side angly bits there to kind of fill them in. The back, it's a little bit more complicated. There's no room for the inverse slope from behind. There's no room from the front because of the space for the door. So instead, I took some more 1x4 plates, blue plates, and more 1x1 studs and attached them to the bottom. And basically, they're kind of a really janky, simple set of wheel wells to go over top. And there's still a little bit of a gap, but it obscures some of it, so you don't see as much of that gap there, just a little bit. So feels like it's kind of filled in. Little cheat there. Now I'll make a second one for the other side. Oh, that's okay, Russ. You stuck with it. Now that's the most important part. Oh, and sorry if I missed you say goodbye, Billy, but thank you for coming by, and goodbye if you are not already gone, but so glad you stopped by. But thank you, Russ, for sticking with it and for ultimately successfully following, which was the most important part. mission accomplished. You got there. Okay. So now I will take this. And I'll pop this 2x6 plate across the back. And I'm doing a 2x6 just because it kind of makes the back a little bit more sturdy. It attaches that back part to the parts in front of it. So that's pretty solid, which you can see why it was so darn hard to pull apart with the other truck. So boom, got that. I also want to, oh, I even already see a mistake I made earlier. Yep, keeps it interesting. So one thing I want to do is fill in this side here. And I think I accidentally used the 1x2 brick, since I couldn't find 1x3 royal blue. I think I accidentally used it at the front of the truck. So I might have to go diving for pieces again. Let's see. Back to the blue bag. See, this is a problem with sorting by color. If you ever wondered how to sort your Legos, sort it by brick type. Sort it by the individual component, because it's a lot easier to find it's frankly easier for the human eye if you have a whole giant bin of 2x4 bricks to pick out the different colors. Much more difficult for the eye to pick out different shapes within a sea of one color. And that is definitely the situation I'm in right now, where good gravy, it can be difficult. And the little pieces, which are always the one I actually want, all fall to the bottom. So it is not easy or straightforward to find them. Crikey. Yeah, I don't even see the piece I want. The pieces are falling out behind me on the floor. But I guess that's a good part, because at the end of the show I'll already have an activity. I'll be doing cleanup for all the pieces that fall on the floor. Alright. I don't see it. I don't want to take forever doing this. This is the part where, like, for this, I wanted to pre-assemble the pieces so I wouldn't have to go searching 9,000 years for pieces. But hopefully I can recover easily enough. I have some of the small pieces in a drawer beside me, so I am going to try to recover that blue piece from the front. If that doesn't work, I have a backup in mind. So we're going to go back, and we're going to take out the bumper, we're going to take out the front plate. We are going to dive into the front. Jeez. Where again, I'm reminded of how sturdy this is, because it's not easy to pull this apart. And the piece I want, of course, is right there in the middle. That little piece right there. So let's see if I can get to it without completely destroying. Alright. Closer, closer. This is the other part that's can be problematic when you're someone like me who builds without a plan, and you just dive in and start going. It's a blast, but you also realize mistakes you made along the way a lot, and it is not always easy to go back and correct them. In this case, I lucked out. I did not hurt myself too badly. You did not have to wait too many hours for me to do it. Sorry, I can't forget where my hands were. See what I'm doing. But I've reattached things. I put the blue, I replaced the blue 1x2 with the black one, because no one can really see it anyway. It's underneath the hood. So I'll save that blue piece for a more visible location. I put these tiles back on. I put the front grille back on. I put the bumper back on. Boom. And back here, boom. That plus that equals a finished bed of the truck. Success. Okay, now I'm going to put on some doors. Oh, why didn't I sort it by shape in the first place? That is such a good question. Utio? However you pronounce it, fantastic question, and it's because I'm an idiot. I mean, I think, it starts a long time ago, honestly, like decades ago, that I started, of course, first collecting pieces, and then eventually trying to sort them a little bit as I got more and more. And frankly, sorting by color is a lot prettier, and it's a lot faster and easier to just dump a whole giant pile of one color into a bag. So the actual sorting process can sometimes, frankly, be much simpler. The challenge is that really slows you down on the actually finding a piece part. So lately I've taken to sorting by type with new sets. And I take the sort by type with smaller pieces or more rare pieces. But I still have giant bins of just like, this bag of royal blue that usually sits inside a bin that like the base is all white because I have tons of white, and then I'll have bags and bags and bags of different shades of blue, different shades of red, green, black, gray, I guess just one shade of black, but you get the idea. Okay, as I've been babbling, I've been attaching the doors. So now we have 4 doors on our truck. Nice and ready. This is a doctor. Hey, Julie. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate that. I wondered, I do work for Big Pharma. I am not in any way a doctor or a scientist. I am a communications person that does the stuff, but I will take being called a doctor. Thank you. It's the easiest doctorate I ever earned, that's for sure. So thank you. And I hope doctors aren't idiots. I mean, I guess there's probably some, but we'll just assume that they are not idiots. So what got me started on my LEGO quest? Ooh, that is a good question, Midvani. I think I literally do not remember a time when I did not love Legos and was not building with Legos. I went back as far back as I can remember. I was told stories by my parents that I think my obsession with like little things and the little pieces that would later build up to Lego was Matchbox cars. I would I'd have giant bins of Matchbox cars. I'd line them up and down the halls. They were my beep beeps. They are called mommy beep beeps. I'd line my beep beeps up and down the halls and create giant traffic jams with all of my Matchbox cars. And so I think that kind of eventually led to them buying me Lego vehicles, and then me discovering Lego and diving in. And yeah, no, ever since the early mid 80s, I've been building Lego. And almost all like full-size Lego. I rarely had Duplo. I pretty much was all just straight to the series Lego, because I think that's actually what was around. I don't even know if Duplo was around back then. I'll start with Bionicle. I can appreciate Bionicle, and there are some very devoted Bionicle followers in the broader adult fan of Lego community, which is another term you might sometimes hear, adult fans of Lego, or AFOLs, AFOL. So that's a fun little play around that. But you find different people have different kind of specialties within it. And a lot of it does tie back to what you started with, what you built that first time. We briefly got serious. I'm going to dive in on this one. So originally, I built town. I was all about town Lego. And that's definitely reflected in most of what I build nowadays, where I build vehicles that go into a town setting, or trains, planes, boats. And then I think I'm up to 33 custom Lego buildings of that scale, that train station I showed earlier. So I am all about town. Now, I still love lots of other genres, so I will still go out and build other things, but they tend to be one-offs. I have an ice planet base. I have a ship. Actually, I think I can show you the ship. Let's see. I'm moving my mouse. My mouse is, there we go. Now my mouse is on that actual monitor. So we will jump to tab 6, right, with my site. So obviously, again, this is at justforissue.com. You can see this for yourself. And sorry, I did not mean to make this a plug for myself. Follow the Transverse. But down here, you can see some of these different things. So most of the things you'll see from me are things like my buildings. There are things like my fire trucks here, or this train that I thought had kind of a Fallout 60s influence. But this ship I loved building, and this was very different for me to do this and to build something from kind of like from this different genre. And so we go back to this album. It's up behind the monitor I'm looking at right now, but I have this ship still. And so I love building this. It lifted apart. There's a gun deck. There's a captain's quarters, all kinds of different things deep inside of it. So I had a blast doing this. Now, this is not something I think I could do a lot of. It's definitely not my wheelhouse, so you're not going to see me building that all the time, but it was fun to kind of stretch my building chops a little bit and go in a completely different place with that. And I had similar things where I went wildly off of my normal town course. And I think one of the best examples was an ice planet base I did. Because I don't do tons of space things, but I built this kind of, it was like a pseudo Quinjet. It's not actually supposed to be a Shield Quinjet. I just had the Shield stickers around and I put it on there. But this base was this Ice Planet base, and it was something this larger Lego group I'm a part of. They were doing a whole Ice Planet display, and so I built this base to plug into it. And it had a lot of things that were very different for me that I've never really done before. In particular, these angled bits here, where you had like these bays, these hangers coming out of the ground for these drones to fly out of. That was something I'd never really done before. There we go, zoom in even closer. So that angled bay, those were tough. That was tough to do, to build at an angle like that and to make it sturdy. But it was also really neat. That was something I'd never really done before. So that Ice Planet base was a real departure for me from my usual town stuff. So it's awesome that you love Bionicle, and it's awesome that so many people love so many different things. And I think you'll probably find, I mean, I don't know if it's true for you, but I think a lot of people find that whatever they first got attracted to, whatever they first started with, is kind of their home base. And so for me, that is very much town. So let's go back to a little bit of the town and the good old truck. So we got pretty far. We're an hour in, which is good. I should be faster with the second truck, so this should pan out well. And thank you for whoever is sticking around. I hope this is interesting. I hope it's fun. After this, though, please give me feedback on anything I can do differently, better, worse, I guess. But that will be very much appreciated, especially as this is my first stream. Okay, so the truck. Where were we? We built, yeah, that's the fake front. I'll use an example. We built basically the whole base of the truck. That is awesome. We will take one of the people that fell out of the old truck and make him the driver of the new truck. That'll help us kind of keep in mind where we have to position things. We have to raise his arm up a little bit awkwardly because it does kind of fit a little bit weirdly around some parts of this truck. Oh no, actually he's okay. I can get that done. All right, so now I'm going to build the windshield. I'm going to build part of the windshield. And the windshield on this is a little bit funky. It's definitely different than what I would normally do on most Lego vehicles. And I'll show you with the finished truck as I reattach it right now. Oh, the gear shift is stopping the window. There we go. So, sorry. I keep forgetting I need to do this on screen. I hold up too close to me. So we'll reattach the wheels. This is I guess a Tesla truck because there's no driver. This is automated. Just the passenger, terrified. So this windshield here is very different. This is not a normal thing that you will see. Probably for good reason. This is probably not the sturdiest way to do it. But I thought it looked kind of cool. So a more conventional windshield would be something like this. Right? Probably recognize it. Very common, very normal. It would kind of fit here. But I didn't love the way it made the roof look. I thought the roof edge looked a little bit odd. I wanted something that was a little bit smoother, a little less like angled in and then jumped up and then angled over. So instead, I found one of these things where they're usually used for skylights. I put it on its side, I attached some extra angles to it, these extra little things to kind of hold things in place, and attached it end on to the roof. So a very different way to do it, but I just thought it looked cool. I thought it looked more almost Land Rover-ish. So that's what I'm going to do with these other ones too. But I just wanted to show you that sort of normal window windshield, and then what I did here is a little bit unique. Probably not as official, probably not as sturdy, but I think pretty nifty looking. And oh, thank you, Jessica. Glad you're living all Land Cruiser. Yeah, I can see Land Cruiser. I can totally see that. No worries, Russ. I'm sorry. I hope I did not cause your child to cry, but of course, go and take care. It's so nice to have you here. All right, I think for anyone who does have to go early and you are morbidly curious to see how this ends, I believe all of these replays will be up for at least a day at the same exact address where you came in before. You can see the latest episodes, not just of my show, but a lot of other shows right there for at least some brief period of time after they air on the Transverse main Twitch page. Oh, he's teething. That makes sense. I feel a little less guilty then. You could have blamed me though. I would have accepted it. All right, windshield. Let's build a little bit more. Let's take a sip to echo. Wine. I completely forgot about wine. I was already here. So, Ashley and Jessica, who are in the chat, will know this well. we went to Lieb Cellars in Norfolk. This is not an ad, I'm just talking about it. It is good. We went to this place in Long Island, and we split a freaking case of this. And I think I forgot, and I just ordered some more, so I'm back up to 4 bottles now. But it is now, I think we still enjoy it, but we basically feel like we have to drink it whenever we visit each other because we have so much of this particular Pinot Blanc. So I will help deplete my own supply a little bit with a surprisingly large pour. I'm known for that. Okay. That's a good one, Julie. Don't want to be known for making babies cry, but I do enjoy that. Okay, I'm going to attach these sort of clear angle pieces, very similar to what I did on the side of the truck underneath the door. Yes, I did open that bottle before. I had some last night. Good eye, Emily. Good eye. All right, so I attached that. That will help hold that in a little bit. Only one left, Ashley. Wow, I guess we probably drank a lot more of yours than most. I was down to 2. I ordered back up to 4, but still, I know I've probably held on to more of my wine than you and Jessica did. Okay, I'm gonna build the side frames, the pillars of the truck with all of these 1 by 1 blue pieces. I also have 1 by 2, and I have no idea why. What are these for? We're gonna find out. All right. Probably don't have enough. That's probably what's gonna happen. Yep, I think that was another compromise. All right, we're about to point out yet another compromise, which is not ideal, but sometimes necessary. Okay, so I'm able to build those 2 pillars right behind the little dude there. I want to have the same thing in the back, and ideally I would have 4 of these 1 by 1 bricks to make that happen. I could not find 4 more. I could only find 6, or actually 8 total, because there's 1 underneath. So instead I found 1 by 2s, and I'm just kind of faking it. This is not ideal. I'm not claiming this is official part of the design, but I'm doing it. All right. So, boom. Yeah, just look at it from the side. Don't look at it from that way, where you see these parts stick out, because they shouldn't be there. Look at it from the side. Pretty perfect. Exactly what should be there. Okay. Again, I know I have more of these. I know I probably have dozens of these. I can't find them. There's just too many bricks to sort. If people want to just idly come by for hours upon end and sort brick, you are extremely welcome. There is so much of it. It's a good decade worth of sorting to be done. Classic party. Oh, the quick clock. That's true. I think it was me. I think it was my fault. I said I wanted to try White Claw. I had heard lots of people talk about it. I had never had White Claw. And so Ashley bought a case for her birthday. Now it was a theme for her birthday. She did 7 Deadly Sins. We all had to come as in different costumes. I was Wrath. Actually, I think I wore the shirt, but with a lot more like anger and leather. And Ashley, for the sloth course of the 7-course meal, served McDonald's and White Claw, and it was good, but she was stuck with a whole case of White Claw, which we have not come close to finishing since then. Okay, yeah, that's very true, Julie. I don't think any of us had tried it before, so it was kind of an experiment, and we probably did not need to order a case of that. And sorry, Ashley, that you got stuck with that. All right, so I have built most of the truck now. I still find pieces that I don't remember what I got them for, but that's part of the fun. I'm gonna put these little pieces here on the side. I wouldn't necessarily start with these, but I kind of want to see what the truck looks like without the roof. I think it would look kind of semi-decent, so we'll try that out, and then we'll add on the roof. I built these pieces with these bricks, these studs on the side. We haven't really talked about it, but that's where these 1x6 gray plates, tiles, come in. So they get to lay right there on the side, and then boom, suddenly you have nice little trim from bumper round to the back, standing all the way around the truck. Adds a nice little bit, I think, of depth too. A little, not as smooth. It feels a little bit, I think, a little bit more real and interesting. So boom, add in those side tiles. What are you for? What are you for? Oh, maybe it's the front. The front? No, it's not the front. We have another follow. Janice, hey, another awesome person. Thank you for hopping over from the world of Instagram to the world of Twitch, if you had not been here before. But so glad you came and so glad you followed. And hopefully you will enjoy more of me doing stuff like this, if it's interesting, but also many other great shows from the Transverse Network. So good decision following. All right. Sorry I have to go, Julie. Snuggling with Usagi is very important. Have a great time. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good night. And I got a clip. I don't even necessarily know what that means, but that's awesome. I've seen other people get clipped. I haven't necessarily known how it works. So this will be an interesting discovery, especially after the show. Is that something I can show? I guess I probably have to be set up to be able to show it. But I guess we can see it later. All right. That's cool. That's cool. All right. So roof. I think we kind of have to do the roof because a big part of it is actually these black angled plates that hold the windshield on. And I think they're going to look a little bit weird without the rest of the roof. We'll find out now though. All right, close. I also have a little light bar on top of the truck, so I'm going to put that together because that helps kind of hold together the roof together a little bit too. It's not just there to look cool, it has a practical reason. So I'll pop these lights on. I put that 1x4 tile on the back, and then underneath I'm going to take this 1x2. I think I do that there too. Yes, I do. 1x2 plate and stick that right on top, and it looks cool and helps hold the windshield in place. And so there's kind of what the truck will look like without the rest of the roof. It's not terrible, not great. Let's finish the truck. Okay, on the bottom, we didn't really have to do this now, but I'm going to do this now. I added these little things because I feel like they kind of look like steps for the driver to get in and out of the truck if it's a little bit too tall. Come to think of it, there are other pieces I can get that will make that a little bit sturdier. So one of the many drawers of pieces I have, boom, these little pieces, these little things, and they're kind of neat because they stick up from the bottom, but they have smooth bottom studs on top, so they can they're a little bit thinner than a normal plate, and they can help you add a little bit of stability very quickly and very easily. So I'm going to put those onto that, and that not only holds the step in place, it actually holds these sides on place a little bit easier than before, because otherwise it's kind of easy sometimes to push down and knock them off. Now it's a little bit tougher. So that was a cool thought I just had. I'm going to add them to the original truck too. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. The sound effects are key. Yeah, you have to do sound effects. I hope you know that. And I expect to see it in the other episodes with Emily and Rosa in the other episodes of Builder's Block. Sound effects. From you, nothing to it. Okay. Base bottom of the truck. Completely done. That is awesome. And hi Janice, I just see you say it in the chat. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for coming by. Oh, you've been watching since the start. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. I keep saying Eventually I'm gonna learn not to say but not today. All right, back of the truck. So, a couple things going on here with the back of the truck. I have some windows. Good old windows. Go on the side there. Boom. And boom. I have a whole bunch of little 1x1 bricks that will form the pillars. They're kind of, I don't know if they're canvas. In my head, they're kind of canvas. Like it's like this different color. I feel like that looks like it's a different kind of back to the truck. And maybe this would look better on its own if I had done smooth tiles on the back for the blue instead of studs. Maybe it would look a little bit more complete. I'm going to put on more of these. Fill out the back of it. And then one thing I did that was a little different, instead of just having the solid back, is I obviously put a little wheel on the back there. And the way I pulled that off was, on one side I have a solid window, Boom. The other side, I put one of these Technic pieces with a hole in the middle of it and a clear piece on top so you can still see at the back. Though it's going to be covered by a tire. And then I put one of these pins, again a Technic piece, in there. And I put that beside the window. And then that will be where I mount the back tire, just like the mounts on the side of the wheel wells. Or wheel bases. Yeah, no idea still what these pieces were for. I hope they weren't important. Now I will add this back plate here. Sometimes this can require a little bit of, since there's so many different little pieces, they require a little bit of massaging to get them into the right place. But now, kind of have a straight back and a place to put the rest of the roof on. Now the way I did it was that this is kind of separate from this, so that this part comes off a little bit easier. You can put the people in and out relatively easy, and then the back is more solid. Don't expect to really open up the back too much. So I am going to put these smooth 1x4 tiles on the back and side. I'm going to put this one 2x4. Since there's only, for this particular piece, studs at the front, I got a 2x4 piece, so because it only needs to attach at the front and cover the whole width. And the reason I did that, and the reason why I have these lower pieces in here, it technically isn't necessary, but I thought I'd give a little bit more room. I put two little clips in here, and then that the roof rack can kind of clip in there. So there we go. A little more room around the roof rack if you wanted to attach something else to it, versus if it was flush with the roof. But you don't have to do that again. You could build a solid 2x4 base and put more tiles in there in a second clip, make it even sturdier. But I just kind of like this. It's a little bit easier to use. And sorry, I'm just looking at comments. Oh, the ums and uhs. Yeah, the interstitials. I try, they're not interstitials, using the web word. I forget what they were. I used to know what that word was. And you're right. I haven't wanted to use like. There's no problem if you're someone who does, but I've tried to avoid that. I thought I replaced a lot of my ums and uhs with pauses, but I have not been as successful as I thought I was. And I'm sure when I watch a repeat of this, it will remind me. I know when I watched a repeat of my first time on stream, even though I wasn't streaming when I was with Emily, I could not stop hearing myself say so I don't know if I'm going to listen to this replay or not, but that's okay. That's one of the things that if you just do become conscious, and you have the opportunity to at least minimize them, and that is my intent. All right, so now I'm taking these 1x6 remaining smooth tiles, putting them across the top, and I'm going to take these excess pieces that I'm sure had a very important purpose, but I don't know what it was right now, out. And now we can do the pièce de résistance, the wheels. Ta-da! And now we have our second truck, and this is important to me. They wheel just fine. They can hold people just fine. They're fairly sturdy, and again, they can hold 4 people in them instead of the usual kind of one in front, one in back that you get with a normal, conventional, official Lego build of a 6-stud wide car. So, 2 down, 1 to go. Let's see how quickly I can build this last one. Especially now that I kind of better remember how the heck to do it. So we will set this pair aside, though I'm sure I will still need a reference them a ton. We have 1 driver left. There was a 4th one. He's somewhere on the floor. I don't know where. We will now get the pieces for the next one. All right. So I'm going to briefly focus on me while I shift, just because. The interesting thing is, I also, at one point, had all of these pieces carefully arranged, like by type, by color, by which portion of the truck they went on, and then over the course of the last couple of weeks, I kept moving them back and forth, because I often work here. I've worked for a while back there. That's usually sort of like my main place where I interact, but I this was easier for building with the big table surface. And eventually I also got kind of tired of constantly trying to switch all of my accessories between my personal desktop and my work laptop. And it wasn't always a smooth connection. I found that a lot of times my cameras and my microphones would not reconnect properly, so I was not being heard on like half of my WebEx calls. It was a big pain. So instead, I decided to just dock entirely over here. So this particular camera and microphone can be connected just to my work laptop and disconnected via a switch from that computer, which makes it a little bit smoother, a little bit easier. I'm gonna briefly do a be right back thing. It's not because I'm going away, it's because I dropped a bunch of pieces on the floor. Be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. I think I found all the pieces. This will be an interesting experience, I think, farther in, if I did not, but we will find out. Thank you all for hanging around a bit. Sorry, I'm just catching on chat. Countdown thing to add to the stream for me. All right. Where was I? I was building a new one. All right, let's see. So we have 40 minutes left. You stuck with me. I appreciate it. Maybe you didn't. That's okay. I totally get it. Let's try to do a speed build with the second thing. It's not exactly a speed build. There are official standards for like speed builds where you have an official set. Multiple people open that same official set. Everyone tries to build it all at once. I have one of those, which is a blast. But the more interesting one I did was a blind speed build. We actually have a wooden board in front of you, or cardboard or something. You have your hands around it. The pieces are all in a tray, but you can't see any of the pieces. However, you do have the instructions in front of you on the other side of the board. So you're looking at the instructions, you know what kind of piece you need, but you have no idea what's out there. And so you're reaching over, you can't see the colors, you're just feeling around, and you build the set blind. And that's also timed. And you, again, at the end, whoever is fastest, you get points, but then you also get demerits. So you gotta get time added to your score for every error you made of the build that you couldn't see. That was a blast, and I won one of those too. That was a lot of fun. Back to the build mode. Cool. So we are starting again from the very beginning with our little base. And yes, that was a song reference. It's a very good place to start. I will pull out the wheels because they take up a lot of space. Find some more base parts to it. Let's build a bag challenge. So I have seen those. I have not done one, and I don't know how well I would do at it. Building a bag challenge is where you don't open the bag and you build the set inside the bag. So obviously only applicable with very small sets that can come in a single bag, but it's a pretty fun and cool thing to do. So I've seen it. It looks intriguing. Some people like live by it. They love doing those. I have not had as much experience with it, but it is a pretty cool thing to do. This particular set, much like I was compromising with the blue set, I did not have a long red tile, or I could not find, red plate. So I created one with these gray pieces that I could find easily at hand. Hopefully it will not be too unsturdy of a vehicle. Unsturdy, holy word. I am going to place that in there, because I know that's a part of it. I'm going to put these plates on top. So, again, very solid. I hope I don't have to take this apart, because that would not be easy or fun. I'm going to take these little pieces, if you remember these from earlier, and pop them on there. This will hold the side trim of the car. And this time, I'm going to go ahead and add the steps for the front seat earlier, because I think actually attaching these and then those smooth plates I added as a last minute addition will actually make this whole thing a little bit sturdier and less prone to coming apart. So I'm going to do that first this time. So, boom. There. Base of the truck. And the steps for the person. You can see this ones I did in red because I had them. Keep it interesting. What was next? Alright, I think these two pieces go on top of the wheel wells, or on top of the axle for the wheel wells to go onto them. Boom. Now this goes behind. This goes in front. This goes on top. I want the dark gray cheese wedges and the dark cheese wedges and the dark gray headlight pieces. This is the challenge of picking up and shifting and dropping everything. It's not at all remotely sorted into place. But I guess it's kind of closer to opening up a bag for a set and all the pieces are everywhere. So recreating that moment accidentally for myself. This doesn't feel right. Is that right? No, that's supposed to be taller. I forgot I had these little 1x1 plates on the bottom. There we go. Now I'm gonna do this too fast and then we just have to vamp at the end. Kind of interesting. Alright. Now I do not see another 2x4 gray plate, which I think I need for the front of the truck. That is not great. I'm going to steal this one off the back. I guess that's for that. That doesn't feel right. What is going on? What did I forget when I built this that I don't have these pieces that I thought I would have? Clearly, I forgot to get enough of these when I was setting out the pieces for doing this build. I forgot. A key component was these extra 2x4 plates that made the wheel wells higher. I forgot that when I got the pieces for the duplicates. So we will cheat again. Don't need a stapler. I need lots and lots of readily available plates to fake it. So I found a bag of 1x4 plates, which are not ideal, but they'll do the trick. This is kind of neat music. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Streambeats. It's a very cool service from a very popular streamer who does the Alpha Gaming YouTube channel and Discord, and they created Streambeats, which is free, license-free music that you can play on your stream and not have to worry about getting a strike for copyright infringement, which is just awesome. So I downloaded all of these EDM themes and wave files today, and I just put them on a loop, and there's tons of them, and so it creates a nice little background, and I don't have to worry about violating any laws. So that was pretty cool. So streambeats.com, highly recommend it. Very, very cool and considerate service especially for those like us who don't make a ton of money or don't make any money doing this, and so can't really afford to pay for copyrights for licensed music, which I'm not against doing, just hard to do for small streamers. Okay, so I did the base, did the front, I'm ready to put on wheel wells. Boom, boom. And then the rear of the truck. Da-da-da. Again, very critical to the build process. I'm going to do the front really quick because I happen to see the lights here as I'm going through things. So find the headlights, we'll find the blinkers. Hey, just to check, I feel like I got a little bit quieter there. Hopefully everyone can still hear me okay as I babble through all this. We'll pop the lights onto the front there. And now I will do the bumper. And so again, the bumper are the curved little tile slope thingies, a couple clips to hold the grill, and a 1x4 plate as the backing. Pop in the grill, and then attach it all to the front and front of truck existing. I think much like the other car, I'm going to need this space in the middle. Since I already pulled out some blue ones for the blue truck, no one's going to see that. I'm going to put that in the middle. It doesn't matter what color that is. Yeah. Great. I can put these slope pieces on very soon. First, I need those little 1x1 round studs we talked about that filled in the gap on the side rails. So put those in. 2, 3. I imagine this is one of the pieces that fell on the floor and that I will later step on in extreme pain. Don't see it now, but that's the advantage of having a lot of the little pieces right to my left. Let's grab another one. We'll put that last little stud in there. Alright, question. Ooh. Cherished Lego memory. Thank you, Emily. That's a good question. Ooh, geez. What's my favorite Lego memory? You know, I think some of the fondest ones are some of the oldest ones. I remember the joy on Christmas when I'd go down and see some of those Lego sets, or on my birthdays. And not that it would just always be a gift. Obviously, there was a part of the joy in getting the gift. But I think I just really treasured some of those sets. And so I really remember the first Lego police truck, an SUV I got, was one of the first sets I got, and loving that. And the old Archer set. There was this old Archer series that existed, and I liked it was kind of like a Robin Hood series. I really liked those sets. So I remember having like a tree house kind of thing with a bridge over it. It came with an Archer. That was one of my favorite first sets. And I'm building that with my mom. It was a blast. I'd always be building it, and I would tell her what piece to get me, and then she would go find the piece and give it to me. So she loved helping me. I loved finding something for her to do, because otherwise I thought I was faster. But it was a lot of fun to build with her. Okay, cool. I added the filler for that wheel well already. The roof. Yes, the rest of the roof. That's the thing to finish. The hood, I should say. So again, I did not have that one single piece that would tie it all together. So instead, I have multiple little pieces that kind of recreate it. I think that's what I did for, I think I used these pieces for the back. Let's hope that's true. Okay. Once again, I add a whole bunch of tiles to the top to fill in the rest of that. That's the back of the truck. Right. Slightly different pattern because I had a different set of pieces available. But same concept. There is the front of the hood. Nice smooth little hood there. And I'm going to put in the pieces of the windshield that I can attach right now. I will put in things like the gear shifter or steering wheel, and the rest of the little dash to fill it out. Boom. I already broke the bumper, but that's okay. It sticks back on easily enough. I'll add in these little side groove tiles again to add depth to the passenger cab and passenger compartment and the base of the doors. Add in a whole bunch of these little pieces really quick. And then next, I think I'm going to add in the jumper plates that the people sit on and keep them in place. And oh, sorry, briefly, silently do that. Apparently, forgot to talk. Boom. And I will add in the rest of the tiles. And so again, I mentioned before, I did it for stability. So this particular one, I didn't have a single solid piece for the base. And so I'm taking these 2x4 or 2x2 tiles and putting them on top of that to help hold it together. So it's less likely to break apart, being now supported from the bottom and the top grip together. And then we will add the tile for the middle, and boom, base of the car done. So rear of the car again. I am going to build the back bumper with that 1x6 tile, 1x1 studs underneath. Put that on there. What's next? We're gonna build the little janky fake wheel wells that almost entirely kind of sort of fill in the gap above them. There we go, 1 and 2. I'm going to throw on the 4 doors. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I am crushing it. I'm going to be done quite early, but that's okay. Put on the side trim. This is closer probably to how I would actually build, where I would just like fly through it. I don't usually talk to myself as I'm doing it, but I rapidly fill in those bits and just make it happen. At least when I know what I'm doing. Obviously, if I'm making it up, then there's a lot more tearing down and rebuilding because I have no clue how it's going to look. Oh, collecting Barbies. That's cool, Mivani. Do you still have some of those? I have to think some of those are going to be quite valuable if you still have some of those old Barbies. That's cool. Star Wars cassette tapes. I don't think I knew that was a thing. That's pretty nifty. Okay. So now we're at the bumper. I'm going to put in the pieces to make the bumper bump. This is really just the rear of the car. It's not the bumper. It's above the bumper. I'll put on the taillights and the blinking turn signal and taillights and other blinking turn signal. And now I will build up the base relativity to do. Alright, and I attach the back onto there, boom, and now we put on this to hold the whole back together, and we can put one of these nice 1x3 tiles, because I actually had a 1x3 in red, unlike I didn't have it for blue, so there, and bottom of the truck, nice and done, awesome. I do have extra pieces. I do not entirely know why I have extra pieces. It might be some of those things that I thought I forgot, but I didn't actually forget. Or you might find some things along the way. That keeps it fun. Okay. I am going to, once again, build up the sides of the red truck. I think once again, I can see I ran out of 1x1 red brick. Unfortunately, I think after this, I'm going to keep on searching because that's going to bug me if I have to keep them this way. But for now, we'll do this sort of, crummy inset bit there. And here we do the full height, all 1x1. So, kind of got filled in there. Ideally, these would be nice and straight and not have this little bit sticking out. But unfortunate compromises sometimes must be made. We'll then put in the driver. Cool. Oh, nice. Good investment. Good investment. I actually have a ton of Legos for investment purposes. They retain their value. There's even some stories again about how they're being stolen, and there's a lot more in the past about Legos being stolen, and it's because they almost always keep their retail value. Don't come rob me. Sorry, just disclaimer, don't come rob me. But Legos do keep a lot of their value, especially the sets, intact sets. And so when you have them, they're kind of untraceable and they retain their value, or they go up, and a lot appreciate a lot. So I've been buying extra copies of like every big set for the last 5 years or so, and just storing them. The first in my parents' basement, they won't let me do that anymore. I filled up, so now I have a storage unit. But I just keep buying these extra copies. And it's really just for enjoyment. I do love them. If I can sell them in the future, awesome. That's cool to be able to turn that investment around and make something off of it. If I can't, that's okay too, because worst case, I'm just going to have more Lego. And I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can afford to buy them, so for the moment, I'm just enjoying it and taking advantage of that opportunity. Okay, I am almost done here now with our red truck, and Stella's mom got it going on and on. That is an amazing name. Well done. That is amazing. What's my dream Lego build? Oh man, I think a dream. I love the buildings I've been doing lately, and again, the opportunities I've gotten to build things at the modular scale. What most of my buildings are, not this one, but most buildings like. Go back one more screen. Like this kind of building. This is the modular scale. That this Lego officially came out with sets that were built to this standard, and I've been building buildings like this ever since. And this has been the closest to doing dream builds for me, because anything that I would dream beyond this would be so much bigger. You know, having an enormous tower, an office tower that would all be to minifig scale and all be completely furnished. That would be kind of the dream sort of thing to build. It's also grossly unrealistic, at least currently. I am crazy blessed to have as many Legos and as many pieces as I can. Just building this one building with all of its gray and white required multiple additional purchases because I kept running out of pieces. And buying gross, huge bulk purchases of single pieces is not easy to do, especially all in one color, and not cheap to do. And so building a massive tower, if it was going to be actually a uniform colored like the way I would want it to look, would be very expensive, very time consuming, not just in the construction, but especially in the purchasing of it. So that's I guess a dream. It's not as realistic a dream, and now that I found this scale to be able to build to, I feel like I'm already kind of getting to achieve the dreams of what I want to build, because I can actually execute on them. And the next step, I think, in that is actually to have my own town, to take the 30-some buildings and the many more I'm sure I will continue to build, put them together into one layout. That's my current Lego dream. In terms of building to, listening to music and building to, I don't usually. This is actually kind of cool. This is neat to listen while I'm building. Usually I'm watching. If I'm building, I also have TV on, I'm watching a movie, I am binging TV shows, and lately watching Twitch streams, which is not something I used to do, but it's been a blast since the pandemic started to kind of dive into this platform and get to see and follow so many amazing people. And so that's usually the thing I'm listening to is I'm also watching while I build on the side. All right, nearing completion here in both build and time. So I built the parts of the roof here. Now this particular roof, I decided I wanted to shake up a little bit, and so I did a light gray roof instead of a black roof. So this is going to be an experiment, see how it looks. I don't really know. We'll try it out though. So I have these angled pieces again to attach the roof to. It'd be nice to have these be only one stud wide. That would probably look a little bit nicer. Those pieces are much more rare. Again, I think I have a bunch. I don't know where. So it was easier to find these two wide angled, plates, or 90-degree hinged plates, or whatever they're Where is the pieces for the light bar? I don't see them. Do I not have them? That could be problematic. Goodness. I forgot a lot of pieces, clearly, in the course of building this. That's okay, though. Again, another thing at handy. I'm going to have to stand up. Don't look at my bag. Nope. You look, didn't you? Alright, this is a whole bunch of hinged pieces, so I should be able to find what I need in here. Though sometimes finding the specific colors can be tough, but I think I saw, right there on top. Right there on top. Perfect. Okie dokie. So, once again, we're building the little light bar that will go on top. We have this little brick underneath. Does anyone else have any dream builds? Stella's mom got it going on and on. Do you have a dream Lego build or any kind of other build thing that you like to build or create that's your dream? That would be awesome to know too. While you ponder that or write that, I'm going to stick on the little light bar. There we go. A little bit further. Come on. Alright. Maybe I shouldn't have done the windshield first. We're gonna take it off. That's easier. Got that one there. Got the side panels on there. Awesome. Light bar attached. Now what's left? We are going to build the back that we're going to set the wheels onto. So we'll build the gray canvas back of this truck. And the same windows as before. Thankfully I had a bunch of these. And stick that on there. And there's the fourth pillar. I put the wheel on the right, so I'll put the window on the left. Stick the Technic piece onto the clear piece, and the Technic pin into the Technic brick. And boom, cab darn near complete. Put the same kind of little smooth, semi-studded plate on top. Sorry, again, out of frame, but you can see the end result. Back is on there. I will once again attach these tiles here for the roof. These little clips to hold the roof rack. Clip on the roof rack. Come on. Here we go. Awesome. All right. Wow, I did have a lot of extra pieces. I think I was going to use these when I went on those other 1x4 plates, and I thought I forgot something. I think I was going to like make it up out of other pieces, and I just forgot I had planned to do that. That's okay. Look at that roof on top, and once again, the grand finale, brick-wise, truck-wise, attaching the tires. Alright, extra piece is gone. Another truck. All set. So, there we have them. Our three amazing trucks. Oh, found that stud that I thought I had lost. Nice. One less thing to step on. That's handy. Yeah. Here they are. You can behold the full set. I don't know if anyone has a favorite or how you feel about the gray versus the black for the roof. I think I still prefer the green. I think because it's a more rare color. That's I think why I originally built the first one I built was green, because I was kind of surprised I could have most of the pieces to do it. I do like these other ones, and I especially like. I think the contrast of the light gray is just something different for the red truck. The blue I would prefer if it was all in dark blue. That's my favorite color, but lots of these pieces are a lot harder to find in dark blue. That's a more rare color, so that one would not have been as possible or likely to be recreated, or would have been much more costly to recreate it. So, you came with me, and we're nearly to the end. That's okay, we're going to chat a little bit for the end. But you came through, you survived, and thank you so much for bearing with me as we got to do all of these things. Love red, Midvani? That's cool. Is that your fave color? I've come to appreciate red more. I didn't used to like it. I didn't dislike it, but it wasn't my favorite color. I think I've always liked darker muted colors, but I've been certainly expanding my wardrobe a bit. I think it's very fair to say I'm still mostly dark and muted colors, but I like that, and I at least like that I'm bringing in variety in ways that I'm still comfortable with at the moment. And who knows? It could continue to change and continue to expand. I think at the moment I still feel both aesthetically satisfied and comfortable in darker shades for whatever reason. This is actually one of the brighter things that I would wear. Oh, I did do a Lego stream. Hey Tiffy, so glad you got to stop by. Yes, so you just missed the completion of these trucks. I had this truck that was my original custom one, and then I built red and blue versions of it. So that I just finished doing the red moments ago. And I'm almost out of voice doing it all. But yeah, it was the first stream and the first of hopefully many Lego streams, but definitely an experiment to see how it would work to build something. And I think it's going to be probably a little bit more complicated when I build something that I'm not able to just pull together all the pieces for. A prime example would be, I'm thinking I want to finish some more of my buildings, because that's what I tend to build more often, are bigger buildings. And so there's a gas station that I kind of have in progress, which I think we're going to see, this will be a bit of an experiment. I think I can easily pull out in our last 10 minutes. I hope you enjoy the top of my forehead. Alrighty. Oh, this is a little more complicated than I thought. Okay. So I also have parts of a park on here that go with my town hall. Kind of forgot I had put these on here, so this was not very steady. I'm gonna take these little park pieces off and put them to side. So this will be another thing that I'm almost done with. I still need to work on the interior of my town hall, but this is the parts of the yard that go in front of the town hall. These trees are falling off left and right on the ground here beside me. That's okay. So the thing I wanted to show here is my gas station. And so I think this is one of the things I was thinking would be the kind of next step up from vehicles, that I could build this gas station. And so I have some parts I was already starting to pull aside for it, but you can see maybe it's a little awkward at this angle, but you know what? I can rove a little bit. Don't mind the shaking. So this is the service station that I started to build. I have not finished it yet. And so I thought this might be a cool next thing to build, a next thing to finish is this this Octane energy gas station. So I got cool little things like the prices for the different, kinds of fuel. There actually is a little electric spot if you want to charge up your car. Got that good old handicapped spot. The thing that I need to finish is the interior of the shop, and so that's why I thought it would maybe be a cool thing to build out, because it has both the store, the convenience store side to finish, as well as, I have to remember how this lifts out. Oh, there we go. The little quick simple garage. This isn't a full service garage. This is a, get your I really have not driven in a long time. Whatever simple thing you get done with cars, that would be in there. That is sad. I drove for a while before I apparently forgot all of the things that I know. So this is what I'm thinking. Oil change. Holy crap. Yeah, that 100%. Thank you, Emily. So this is what I'm thinking maybe will be next build, is finishing this, building out the interior of the gas station so I can have a completed thing. And then the good old gasless guzzling SUVs that we just built will have somewhere to fill up. Let's see how well this fits. It's a little big for that car space, the parking space. This is a good lesson learned. It looks a little better probably back by the pump. We'll just do that there. Yeah, it looks a little better. All right. So this is what's ahead, but that's not all that's ahead. I think, as we already touched on it a little bit, there is so much more to see, both for the Builder's Block and for the Transverse Network as a whole. And so for those of you who followed, who will stick around, who are willing to come back, I hope you'll come back and see me, of course. But I also hope you will get to take in some of the other cool stuff that's being done by so many other awesome people on the Transverse Network. Some of the things to point out, including just in the days to come next week, Emily, who is the awesome person who's been both giving some lovely questions and advice in the chat, but also will be not only the leader of the Transverse, getting this all going and started for us, but also its flagship show, which is the Transgender Show, where she interviews many amazing, awesome people. And she'll be interviewing Robbie Anthony next Tuesday, who is the co-founder and programmer of the Solace app. So definitely tune in on that. I'll show you the times at the end of this. That is a great person, a great show to see, and many amazing people that Emily gets to talk to and gets to understand their stories. And then also on Wednesday, next Wednesday, will not only, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Emily, be another great episode of the Valkyries to play us in like they did tonight, but it's also going to be the third builder in the Builder's Block panoply of builders and creators, Rosa, who is the Milk Mech builder, I believe. Mech? I honestly, I'm excited to see this because I want to understand more about what she does. Just like I clasped onto Lego early on and stuck with it, I want to understand her story, because what she builds is something I have not built before, building cool mech figurines, I believe, if I have that right. And again, sorry, Rosa, correct me if I'm wrong. In addition to Rosa being the builder last week at our very first show, our inaugural show, was Emily again, who is building her awesome Star Wars custom Star Wars droids. And you've probably seen this giveaway subscriber goal right over here. If the Transverse Network can fill up that to a full total of our subscriber goal, there will be a giveaway of one of those custom Star Wars droids. So it's very cool to ponder if that's something that you would like to participate in. And I believe if you do #droid in the chat, you can learn more about that contest and about that droid. Thank you so much for coming in. This has been awesome. I think anytime someone can create something that's positive, that has positive intent and a positive heart behind as you do it, you're making the world a better place. And I love building this, but we're not just building toys or building other fun things. We're all constantly building and creating new things, and from things like a Lego truck or a Lego building to ourselves. And I would love to know what you're building. I'd love to know what you're creating. If you haven't already, you can, I believe, do !Discord in the chat. If not, we can follow up later. We can get the information to you. You can message me on Instagram at justjess42, or go directly to @the Transverse and find out. But there is a Discord chat where you can come in and join a whole bunch of other people. And I'd love for you to jump in there and jump especially into the Builder's Block chat and share what you've been building. If you tried to recreate what I just showed now, that'd be awesome. Please send in pictures. Let's talk about it. Let's see what you've made. Because again, I want to not just be showing you what I'm building. I want to know what you're building. I want us all to be building and creating things that make this world so much more interesting than it would otherwise be. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a blast. This has been an awesome, fun channel. I appreciate so many of you, especially so many awesome friends who kindly indulged me to after I harangued you to come take a look at this. But thank you for coming in and for sticking with and getting to do this with me. I hope you'll consider joining Discord. I hope you'll consider following here if you don't already. And I hope we can keep on talking and keep on sharing what we're creating with each other. I'm going to do a little outro slide here to show you again those 2 shows that are coming up, and they're specifically the dates and times when you can see them. So please consider tuning back in for those. And until then, until I see you again, I hope you have a wonderful time. Go out there and start building. Awesome. Bye, everyone. It took me a surprisingly long time to figure out what the heck was ringing. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's kind of cool. I don't think I've actually taken a call on this entire device before, or on my Surface. Hey. By the way, my contacts were out of focus. I thought it was 11:59, not 11:56. Sorry for being a little bit early. I haven't hit stop streaming yet. Yes, I haven't hit stop yet. I was actually about to message you when you called. Should I go ahead and hit that? Yeah, well, I mean, I'm happy to. I don't think anyone can hear this. I hope not. But I wasn't sure. Like, I thought about, oh, should I read somewhere or something? But I don't really know. I don't even know how that works. Technically speaking. Well, tell you what, I'm just going to go ahead and stop streaming. It is coming through. Hi, everyone. That's a good lesson learned, too. Awesome. Well, I'm talking with Emily as we close down the show. And thank you for bearing with, I think, what is one of my first technical screw-ups. But, again, it was awesome. And, yes, well, I hope not many so far, but I'm sure there'll be many more. Thank you again. Now we'll officially be ending the show. All right. Bye, everyone.